Ace Match Tuesday. We're back here. The first match was a quick 3-0 by CJ over Prime, but we do have an ace match here between SBENU and Samsung, and the players have been announced as Curious versus Reality.
Yep. We've seen these two play against each other 2 months ago. Reality took it with late game BCs. But we'll see what happens here. The prediction's pretty split at this point. 4-2 for Curious. Team Salmon sticks together.
It's kind of funny. The caster actually asked to be switched to Reality, but I guess they didn't update that. So actually, it is Koreans versus foreigners right now for Curious versus Reality.
I don't think they switched it because I think they wouldn't allow him to just copy Daehyun, which is exactly what he did.
Yeah, that's the name of the game for round 4 predictions. Copy Daehyun. Guys, we're about to jump into this ace match. It's going to be pretty sick. A really gigantic map. As you said, it's going to be on Iron Fortress. These two guys are super late game players. Curious versus Reality in the ace match right now. Down here in the bottom right, in the pink, our Zerg player, it is Curious.
And up here to the top left, in blue for Samsung, it's Reality.
Cross spawns, man.
I've got my Bacchus for this one.
Yeah, man. This is the game we deserve now, especially after the Shrekkening that we had in the beginning of the day.
Yeah.
Going into that super long ZBZ, and then we get this one, cross map, Curious versus Reality. Do you think there's any opportunity for either of these players to say, my image is, very late game macro-oriented player, I'm going to do an all-in because he'll never expect it on this big map?
No. No, not a chance. I don't
Okay.
well,
all right.
I understand your idea, but I think that's like Sue does that, right? Sue did that on this map at these positions and won. Actually, it was on Cactus Valley at cross positions, another big map, but somewhat similar sort of layout, 4-player map. He did that, and he's the type of player who would change it up. But these players don't really like to do that. We very rarely see either of these players do all-ins. Curious more known to do all-ins than Reality, but still very rarely. All-ins also in this matchup pretty weak, especially at cross spawns, which I don't know yet. But it's just a better idea to go CC first and then slowly transition up into mech. If he goes bio, that would really surprise me. For those of you guys who don't know, the longest game in StarCraft 2 Pro League history was, 2 hours and 40 minutes or something like that?
Around there.
When it was Reality versus Sulky on Star Station.
Yep, when Sulky was on SKT, and that was me and you casting that. I think it was like round 2 of Pro League last year, and we stayed until something like 1 a.m. because after that match happened, it was actually just a stalemate. It was a draw. Neither player could kill each other. It was Swarm Host versus Mech. The Swarm Host kept running around the circle, the donut in the middle of the map, and they just could not be caught. It never happened. And eventually they just remade it, and the next game was 50 minutes long as well. So it was quite the fantastic and eventful evening that we had.
It was really funny, too, because I actually really want to go back and watch that VOD. I definitely will soon. It was really funny because Reality was so confident that Sulky could never kill him. In fact, he was the one who asked for the pause, and Sulky was like, "No, I can kill you."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Okay." Then he just spammed scans on top of Sulky's entire army and dropped mules on it, being like, "Okay, then kill me."
Yeah.
Then Sulky
He was taunting him.
So then the referee, who saw that it was like clearly looking like Sulky could not win, asked him to pause, and then Sulky again said, "No, I can win this game. I can kill him." So
I was actually of the mind that it may have been possible, but it would have taken something like 4 more hours.
Well, I mean, it just would have been possible only if Reality allowed him to move into a better position. Like the composition he built, he'd have to throw away his Swarm Host to make better units to win the game, and then if that happened, Reality could win the game. So it was just unlikely to happen. And so Sulky denied the stalemate twice. And then after the third time, he said, yes, okay, we can regame. Then the regame, like you said, was like 45 minutes long. It just went on forever.
And who won that in the end? Was that Sulky? I think it was Sulky.
I think it was Sulky who won in the end. You know what? I'm going to look that up now.
Yeah, that's a pretty important game. I'm glad we're talking about this because, I mean, these are two guys that could easily... Reality was one of the guys that was in that match. And Curious, a Zerg, I feel like even more suited towards that kind of match than Sulky was. I mean, Sulky also a very macro-heavy, longer game type of Zerg. But Curious, he's also got that title here a bit. We are going to see, talking about this game just a bit as Wolf searches for this game. It's going to be pretty standard. Reality, as you expected, is not going to put on too much pressure. He's just going to go for a very early third base in the face of Curious. He shows it. It's at the wall. It's really going to bolster it against any kind of baneling or, you know, any kind of bust all in from Curious. And meanwhile, back at the base of Curious, he's just making drones after drones after drones. No third base just yet. And no lair, nothing like that. He's getting up to 100 gas here. We'll see maybe if he does go into that 2-base lair. A pretty common strategy for this map. That third base is pretty far out there, and if the Terran's going to go for any kind of an aggressive play, you can definitely be shut down at that third base. It's very hard to get the creep over there and to defend against those types of plays. Taking all the gas now as that lair does come up. Probably going to start off with mutas, as is the way of things. We do see a Banshee on the way. Not something you see all too often in this matchup. These days, you do see it in the TVT matchup more often. And Reality just making so many Hellions. Wolf is having trouble finding that game.
I give up. It's too many things to look through, and there's no easy answer. But I'm pretty sure that Sulky won in the end, with just more aggressive play and not being as passive.
I mean, if we're wrong and someone actually knows and looked it up, you can tweet at us. I'm at Brendan Valdez. He's at Proxy Wolf.
Yeah, please do. We're gonna see Bio.
What? WAT Wolf.
And I think it's gonna cost Reality this game, because I really think that if you want to play straight up Bio versus Curious, he's just better than you. I think trying to use the map, just trying to use the map and trying to use
That's
Meg.
such an absolute statement. It's like,
oh, I mean, it is, and it's like I kind of feel bad about saying it, but let's see if you can prove me wrong. That's my prediction, right?
Yeah.
I look at this and I go,
I do agree with you. I think Reality's chances get much higher if he's playing mech. It's what he's comfortable with. It's a very strong style these days. This isn't the best map for it, but part of that is because it's hard to defend 4 bases. But when you're going against Curious, you're not going to be dealing with too much aggression, you know? I feel like he could have done it if he wanted to. Anyway.
Well, a quick Spire, which is good against mech, but obviously not as good against Bio. This Banshee's getting a lot of damage done, like way too much damage done. Like, how much more damage can he possibly get done? 7 kills and force a sport cancel.
Yeah, just like I was saying, it's just, you don't see it too often. And if when you do this kind of thing, your opponent is not expected, you can definitely surprise him and get a bunch of kills.
This is when Curious is like, wait, not mech? Not Hellion pressure?
Yeah.
Where's the second Banshee, you know? Just going to see what Curious has seen so far in Reality's base. Not a whole lot, to be honest. Did see a second barracks and stim research, though.
Okay.
Well,
so he's got a good idea of what's going on.
He saw Tech Lab was spinning, and, you know, it could be fake, but that's pretty good information. He has a Baneling Nest. He has Lair. He should probably start Baneling speed in the near future, but at cross spawns, he doesn't need it right away. His creep spread is already starting to be pretty healthy.
Curious just like adjusted his mouse pad. Not sure what was going on there. We do see the melee upgrades coming up here for Curious, so he has identified this. He does know. Bad creep tumor. It's a macro hat to spot.
It's true. Just gonna like recede the creep off the edge of the base like ever so slightly.
Muta's coming around here, grouping up towards the front of the base of Reality, but not finding too much damage just yet. There is a turret and a bunker here at the third base.
He just wants to slow down this push. He's doing a decent job of it so far. Only 2 kills here, but Overseer helping to spot where that army is on its way back. That creep spread's going to continue to slow this push down as well. It's going to give the Banelings creep speed, at least, if they have to engage. Baneling speed itself is a long way away because he did wait so long to get that. 2-2 on the way now for Reality's units. And that combat shield about to finish. He's getting a very quick burrowing claws for those Widow Mines. Drilling claws, I should say.
Yeah. Combat shield's going to line up here as well.
Good control here by Curious, realizing there's very few mutas here. Very few Marines here. So trying to use those mutalisks to kill as best as he can any of the Hellbats or perhaps damage those medevacs.
Curious has spotted this drop coming in too. And it's going to pull Curious's army a bit out of position, but he will be able to shut it down. Giving some time here for Reality to clear up some creep. The Baneling's coming forward. Not the best. It's a lot of them exploding there on the Hellbats in the front.
He still has 6 more Banes, and these are going to have speed in 12 seconds. So that's important to note. You know, if he had lost all of his Banes there and didn't have any, that would be really concerning. But again, bought him a bit more time. Well, Reality takes a pretty significant supply lead here. Leenock needs that 4th base. He needs it saturated. It's almost finished. The Mutalisks have not done enough damage for how early he committed to them.
Let's see if he can do a bit more damage with this push here. He's got a lot of Widow Mines with that drilling claws, as you mentioned, pumping out 2 at a time, going up to 7 now. Oh, going for the snipe here. Pretty incredible control. Oh, that shot does get off, but still really nice control out of Curious so far.
Yeah, he needs more time, though. His creep spread is trying to buy that for him. Another tumor goes down, as well as an Overlord.
Moving in a supply block Reality here.
2-2 on the way, about to finish right now.
It's a very nice upgrade to have. And he's parade pushing across the map. The mutas are all out of position.
Ooh, some decent Baneling hits here off screen. And also, the Mutalisks are just looking for drops. They found another drop ship. But if he hits this base, if he can kill this base, it's going to be a big game changer. Look at the position with the Widow Mines at the bottom of the ramp. So difficult for Curious to actually engage into that.
It's still very hard to get to that hatchery, though. Just the way the map is designed, you have that ramp so far away. You have a spine crawler as well as that extractor in the way, too. Here we go, poking forward, trying to get the hits there with the Banelings.
Good, careful control here from Curious. He's going to lose that spine crawler, which gives Reality a lot more room to do damage. I feel like the key here is to try to eliminate the Widow Mines, but with all that bio support plus the Thor, this is just a great siege up position here for Reality. He's clearly practiced the strategy a lot.
He's slow and coming in here. Oh, the surround from Curious. He's going to set off a ton of Widow Mines in the back there, but will he be able to actually clear this up? Fantastic micro there with the Thor into the medevac. Picks it up again and again.
A great micro. That Thor has right now 4 hit points left. 4 health on that Thor. And that micro is what's going to probably win Reality this game. Without it, Curious would have been able to push that back. He forced a lot of friendly fire on those Widow Mines.
Oh, he's losing so many of his mutas here. Just fighting straight up with Lings, no Banelings, and the parade push continues.
Yep, this is just too much. Oh,
the GG Reality. Fantastic bio play there. Taking down Curious.
Some of the highest pitched fangirl screams I've heard in a while. With this win, the chances of Samsung making their very first playoffs become very real. Very, very real, man.
Oh, yeah. They needed this win. You said it before. They're going to go up to 4-2 with this one in a +3 indicator. Their next opponent, though, is KT. And KT's going to be fighting hard as well. They need a win to possibly make playoffs themselves.
Next week's matches are going to be so sick. Now, SBENU, on the other hand, with this loss, does hurt their chances, but we'll have to look at the indicator points a lot more closely because against Prime, you know, they are primed, pun intended, to take you know, a 3-0 score and to finish with the best possible indicator.
Curious, understandably not happy here. He is the ace player for SBENU, and he was sent out in the ace, and he failed to do his job.
Yeah. And, you know, it looks like the choice to go bio, you know, I totally apologized. You know, I really thought he wasn't going to be able to beat Curious with it. Curious's Baneling speed really late, and the Widow Mine positioning in that engagement with Thor's support was really good. It only at the very end did Curious realize they needed to go from behind. Then he didn't take a good enough engagement. The Thor micro was amazing. And that's what won Reality that final game to give Samsung the 3-2 win.
It was a very systematic push out of Reality, that bio push. It seemed very polished and practiced. Like every step that he took, he was doing for a reason. Hold that thought. Look at this.
Look at this. This is the closest finishing of a round I think we've ever had in Pro League. 3 tied scores, 3-3-0 indicator. SBENU MVP and KD Rolster. Everything that happens next week is going to decide everything. And Samsung isn't even necessarily in at this point.
Yeah, they're definitely not. I mean, we got SBENU going up against Prime. If they get 3 points, they're almost a shoo-in for the playoffs. And just taking a look now at the winners' rankings, Hero will tie with Zest up at 20. Keep in mind that both Hero and SOS tied at 20 at the end of the round last year.
Yep.
Or at the end of the season, I should say.
Yeah.
Of course, next week is going to be their only chance to get an extra win. I'm sure both those guys are going to be fighting to get 21 wins instead of 20.
Yeah, this is actually pretty close in this as well. It's starting to feel more like last season in that regard, but everything else is starting to feel more like a totally new beast because